Y'all, I have to be so honest with you. I'm worried. I started this series to reduce my food waste and to attempt to cut my grocery bill in half. If you didn't already know that and you missed part 1 or 2 of this video, I'll link it up here. And if you're new here, you should probably hit the subscribe button. But I started this series for 2 reasons. Number 1, reducing food waste is one of the #1 things we can do to help the planet, which is kind of like my whole thing. And number 2, I was listening to experts and economists that said that we were going to see rising costs in groceries in 2025. And since I started paying really close attention to my budget, my grocery bill has only gone up and up and up. And my partner and I sat down during our weekly budget meetings and did a really deep dive into what we were buying for our groceries and realized there wasn't much we could cut. We weren't buying a bunch of frivolous or processed or prepackaged or pre-cut stuff. That's not even what we're buying. So this month we decided that we are not eating out at all, and we are going to actively try to cut our grocery bill in half. And we decided that one of the ways that we could try to do this is to spend half of our grocery budget at the beginning of the month strategically on long-lasting things, produce, beans, rice, dry goods, and then try to make that food last for the rest of the month while not eating out, getting creative, using what we have, using food scraps. And we can't go to the grocery store until we have actually determined that we cannot make any more food here, because something has to be done. I think maybe we need to rewire the way we're thinking about cooking. That, or there's a systemic problem. Who knows which one it is. Anyway, with all that in mind, I plan to get really creative in the kitchen. I plan to use my scraps, and I plan to bring you along with me. So if you want to come along on this journey, I would love to have you, and let's get started. Now, I've been talking about the value of community for a long time, but recently, with everything going on, my literal community has never been more obviously there for me in such tangible ways that I was able to show you here. So obviously I have chickens and they lay eggs, and I'm mostly plant-based, so we don't usually eat their eggs. I have been giving them to my neighbors, but I recently built this stand in my front yard, which I didn't really know what it was going to turn into. Honestly, it's really new still, and maybe it will continue to transform. But so far, I've been putting my eggs out, offering them to my neighbors, and they have reciprocated by offering things like rosemary, oregano. This was butter crunch lettuce, which was really good. And this is the perfect embodiment of why I talk about building community being so important. I'm able to trade something I have that I don't need, give it to someone who does need it, who will use it, and they can give me things in return. That is the way humans were largely meant to live. And not only is this like really fulfilling for my little community building heart, but this is also a great example of why community is so important, because in times of need, when things get hard, we can share things, and it saves us money, makes us more resilient, and helps us feel safer. I am going to share a video about how we built the stand and why, but I wanted to bring in this oregano and rosemary so that I could dry it out, and then I am going to actually use it to make salt to regift to my neighbors. My fingers are like sticky and kind of green from the sap of the rosemary, but it's fine. I have to let this sit for a couple days, let it dry out, which is perfect timing because today is Wednesday night and this is going to be given out on Saturday. So I'm also listening to an audiobook. I'm almost done with it. It's called A Natural History of Empty Lots. And I started listening to it and I didn't even realize it was about Austin, but it's literally not about my neighborhood specifically, but it's probably about my district. And it's really good. This is something I've never done before, tried to do like an herb infused olive oil. I figured why waste the stems if there's a chance that it can help flavor olive oil, and then I have to buy less spices in the future, or herbs, I guess. They're so expensive. So if there's some way I can, you know, cut down the expense on that. I use this old phony Negroni bottle, which is like a mocktail. It's not good. Don't buy it. But yeah, I guess we'll see in a few weeks how this is. Subscribe to see the next episode in this series. So one thing I will say is that even though I am cutting down on my spending, I'm still trying to have like a good quality of life. Obviously, like I think we all want to enjoy our lives. I recently hosted a pop-up coffee shop. That was the vibe. Basically, like I had a coffee set up. Neighbors brought their own cup to get coffee. Technically, I could have gotten that funded through the neighborhood association, but I really hate to have to go and like get people to vote on spending money for things that are like my ideas. So instead, I gave myself a budget of $25 for this whole event, okay? And I stuck to it, but one of the ways I was able to do that is by price comparing. I've been trying to make it a point to pay attention to where things cost less, at at Wish retailers. And for the coffee shop, I needed to buy coffee. I needed to buy plant-based milk. I wanted a couple like little snacks. And especially when it came to plant-based milk, Thrive Market was the most affordable option. So I got the barista version of oat milk. Okay, we may have been on a budget, but we were still killing it. Now, obviously, I care about people and planet, and so I try to give my money to places that also align with that. In the journey of trying to spend less money, that can get complicated, so I'm really, really grateful for a brand like Thrive Market because they keep things affordable while still being kind to people and planet. Like, their warehouses are completely zero waste. They have carbon neutral shipping. They have a goal of becoming the world's first climate positive grocery store, and they're B Corp certified, all the while providing like the best options for food, organic snacks, sustainable cleaning products. And they give back too. Like, they give memberships to teachers. They also accept EBT. Like, I just love them so much, and they can help me save money. I got pasta because pasta has always been an easy go-to for me. It's also cheap. I also got rice vinegar because we were out, and I have some plans for this that make like a cheaper alternative to a salad that I normally make. We'll get into it all. I got the milks. I got some dried chickpeas, which we will also use later. And I let myself get a little treat every time I order from Thrive Market, which again, within the budget, is nice so that I can still get a snack that I feel good about. And this time I got sour cranberries, which I love a sour fruit. And because they're sponsoring this video, they are offering you a really great deal at the link at the top of the description, thrivemarket.com/ShelbyOrm, to get 30% off of your first order plus a free gift up to $60. We're gonna get into making the next thing and on to the next tip. Something I have recently been swearing by and like just can't talk enough about is the like mental load of having to prepare an entire meal all on your own. The ease that I feel when I am creating something for like a shared meal and my job is just to create one part of that is so nice mentally, the mental part of it. But I can't emphasize enough how much shared meals makes cooking easier. And honestly, for me, I don't know about you, but when cooking is made easier, I save more money because I don't find reasons to give myself to just say fuck it and order, you know, delivery food. So really work on trying to create more shared meals. And my other tip, particularly pertaining to the meal that I'm creating for tonight, is plan ahead. Like, I know that's so obvious, okay? But planning ahead just for some reason really helps my brain. I soaked these chickpeas overnight so that tonight when I go to make my little like one pot meal, I'm not scrambling trying to soak my beans, which is something that happens to me a lot. Dried beans, dried lentils, rice, those sort of things are literally pennies. Although it doesn't seem that much more expensive to buy canned beans because I buy most things I can organic, it costs significantly more to buy a can of organic chickpeas than it does to buy the same amount dry. Especially from Thrive Market because like most of their things are organic and also affordable. Like for instance, tonight I'm using chickpeas instead of buying like pre-made falafel or like a plant-based chicken or something like that. This was probably like 15 cents. So I've been looking to use cheaper ingredients, but also to prioritize ingredients that stay longer better, that aren't going to go bad before I get to them. And this is a salad I would normally make with cucumbers. I make a quick kimchi cucumber salad kind of thing, usually like every other week I would say, but I didn't want to buy cucumbers this month because obviously we're trying to cut the budget lower and lower, and cucumbers are actually a lot more expensive than carrots. They're like double the price because carrots on average are like 80 cents a pound compared to like $1.50 to $2 for cucumbers. But worse than that, I feel like cucumbers go slimy or soft within a week, and carrots last in my fridge up to like 4 weeks. It's wild. Most importantly, this salad turned out absolutely incredible. I highly recommend you use it. I really just eyeballed everything. I kind of guessed on what I put in here, and I made a little recipe over on my website. I'll just link it below in case anybody wants it. I feel bad when I show things very specific like this and people are like, what's the recipe? So it's down there, and I do highly recommend as a cost savings, but also just as like a really good salad. Just take mine and try it.
Okay.
Is it good for real? Does it need anything else?
I think it's great.
So I feel I've always tried to like reuse food waste scraps in my my cooking. I have made a strawberry vinaigrette from strawberry tops before, but today we're gonna try something different. And obviously a lot of the examples I'm giving are very specific to my life and like take what you can from it, but this is meant to like jog the creativity in the kitchen, you know what I mean? I always keep my scraps to make my veggie broth. Lately when I've been microplaning garlic, like when you get to the very bottom and it's like really sketchy because you could catch your finger in here and hurt yourself, I've been taking like the little bits of that and storing it in olive oil in my fridge, and then I'll just use that in cooking later. Recently there was like 2 tortillas left in our little tortilla bag thing. I guess Madison like tore a couple of them up and left them in the bag, and I found it and I was like, what is this? It wasn't really like a tortilla that you would really use for a taco, so I cut them up and made them into tortilla strips for a salad. And I usually give some of my kitchen scraps to my chickens. They're actually really picky. They don't like to eat everything. People will tell you chickens will eat anything. Not in my experience. But I'm trying to keep some of my scraps at least during this challenge, to make stuff with. And I eat an apple every morning, so I started saving my cores because I'm gonna make apple cider vinegar with it. That is gonna be a great cost saving, I believe. Apple cider vinegar is not the cheapest thing in the world. And like I said, the things that I'm working on in my kitchen are like really specific to my needs and what we're doing. So I'm not saying that this is like the end all be all thing you should do with your strawberry tops, but it's to get your brain thinking about things that you could use. So this is a household of women, 2 menstruating people. And so when the period time comes around, okay, we're ravenous. Specifically, Madison has like an extreme sweet tooth. So she was digging through the rack over there of all of our dry goods trying to find chocolate chips. And we didn't have any regular chocolate chips, but we had these ones from Thrive Market that had been over there for who knows how long. And I was sitting in here and I remember she found those, she goes, ugh, why are they white chocolate? And I guess she didn't want to eat them because they were white chocolate, but that got me thinking, like, how can I use those? And this weekend we're gonna do this thing we call block walking. We found that to get people engaged in the neighborhood, you just have to go knock on their door. And surprisingly, in this neighborhood, a lot of people answer their doors. There's a couple new people who moved into the neighborhood, and so I wanted to make something for them. And normally my method for doing that would be come up with a recipe idea, go get the ingredients and make it. Or in the past, I have also went and bought cookies and given them to my neighbors. Instead, I was like, well, I know I have one more of those like little roll tins of croissants left over from the coffee shop that we didn't need to make. And then I know we have the white chocolate chips in there. And then I was like, well, I wonder if I could use the strawberries we have to make something with those things together. And then I was like, well, I don't really want to use my strawberries for that because again, I'm not supposed to be buying any more strawberries this month. And then I was like, well, what if I use the tops and I try to make like a jam jelly situation to go in the croissants with the chocolate chips. So that's what I'm about to work on with this. You just need, I think, sugar, lemon, and we'll see if it reduces down into what I want it to be. Wish me luck. I threw a handful of frozen blueberries that my friend left here. She's been coming back and forth for work interviews and she just left them in there. So I threw them in there. It didn't reduce down quite to what I want it to be to like add it to the croissants, but that's fine. I'll just maybe add another cornstarch slurry to it. I'm not sure what I need to do, but it tasted good. Then I got busy on making dinner and I've already talked about the ingredients. I'm using up what I have. I'm choosing cheaper ingredients, but I also love my Instapot. It doesn't make my house as hot. It's really easy to use. It's super easy to clean up. I think that is like one of the best tips you can take away from like trying to learn how to cook in general, really, but cook for cheap, is to make stuff that you like, that's easy, that is convenient, that you will be able to keep on repeat. So I made dinner for my neighbor. This was Thursday evening and we always do craft nights on Thursday evenings. I cook and then she comes over and we craft. I'm currently working on a rainbow patchwork gingham project and she was darning a sock and we were just talking about how much as you get older you realize like buying good quality things and like taking care of them is so worth it. So we were joking about her socks. And then she checked Facebook and one of our neighbors posted in the Facebook group that I made that he had some lettuce from his hydroponic system that he was getting rid of. So we went on a little walk to get some of that after the sock was all good.
That's how I know I'm getting old. I have a sock preference.
Well, by very happy accident, my neighbor posted in the Facebook group that I made for the neighborhood that he had some lettuce that he was looking to get rid of. He has a massive hydroponic system, so we will be having salads, maybe lettuce boat tacos for the unforeseeable future because I got food for free, which is one of the ways that I'm cutting down on my grocery bill. Yeah, we walked over to get that lettuce and now I'm a shiny queen. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video and got some really good ideas as to how you can cut down on your grocery bill, or maybe just some ideas for using what you have in your kitchen, getting a little bit more creative in using what you already have and planning from what you already have instead of coming up with a plan and then shopping. You know what I mean? Thanks so much for watching. Remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Night, guys.